Rodrigo Abols, the new call-up for the Philadelphia Flyers. Ryan Poehling placed on injured reserve after his injury last Thursday. And Fedotov is the Flyers' new number 2 goalie on the depth chart. I'm Charlie O'Connor with PHLY Sports, and these are your Flyers post-practice notes. So let's start with Abols, who was the call-up today. They announced it this morning. He's a 6'4" center, 29 years old. The Flyers signed him in the summer out of the SHL. He's actually Latvian, though. He's not Swedish, and he knows 4 languages, including Russian. Now, Abols did battle for a spot in training camp back in September and October, didn't make the team, and has spent the entire year with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, and he's been fine for the Phantoms, 19 points in 34 AHL games this season, largely playing center. The Flyers decided they were in need of a center with the Ryan Poehling injury, so Abols comes up. Will he play in tomorrow's game against the Detroit Red Wings? Unclear. He did skate on a line today with ALLCITY and Garnet Hathaway centering that line. However, Scott Laughton was not on the ice today. He was dealing with a family matter, and one would expect that Laughton will play in Tuesday's game. It is Pride Night. Scott Laughton's obviously very involved in that cause, so one would expect he'll find his way back to Philly for that game. But Abols could still play. Maybe they will sit ALLCITY. Laughton could move over to the left wing to replace ALLCITY. We shall see. If Abols does play, expect a big, relatively physical center down the middle. He's not going to throw huge hits, but he definitely is willing to use his size, especially at the net front. And he has some offensive skill as well, especially soft hands around the net. Could be something there. He's obviously 29, so not quite a prospect, but Flyers might want to see what they have in this guy and see if he potentially could be a fit for the next few years with the organization, or if he's going to head back to Europe. Now, the reason for the Abols call-up, Ryan Poehling was placed on IR today. Not a shock. He obviously suffered a head injury with that big hit by Maxim Tsyplakov on Thursday against the New York Islanders. It was clear the injury was serious, most likely a concussion. He was officially placed on IR today to clear up a spot for Rodrigo Abols. Now, how long will Ryan Poehling be out for? Unclear. John Tortorella today would not give a timeline. Concussions are obviously a tough thing to predict. It just kind of comes down to whenever the player's feeling better and when he clears all the protocol. However, Tortorella did say that he is feeling better every day, and he's going to trust Poehling and also trainer Tommy Alva to determine when Poehling could be good to go, but it was a scary injury, so good to hear that he's at least making progress. Another player making progress, in his case, on the depth chart rather than in terms of working through an injury, Fedotov, who officially, according to John Tortorella today, has jumped Alexei Kolosov on the goaltender depth chart and is now the number 2 behind Sam Ersson. Now, Fedotov has been serving as the number 2 behind Sam Ersson for over a week now, but last week, John Tortorella was not willing to proclaim Fedotov the number 2. He kind of said that they're still working through that situation. Today, however, he was willing to give him the leg up over Kolosov. So Fedotov is your new number 2 goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers. Alexei Kolosov has been dropped to the number 3 spot. Tortorella also had a lot of really nice things to say about Fedotov today. He praised Fedotov for how he dealt with, in Tortorella's own words, being kicked to the curb in favor of Kolosov over the last couple months. He basically said that Fedotov has worked really hard in practice. He's done all the right things. He said all the right things, and now he's getting rewarded. And Tortorella said, look, it can be tough to have confidence in a goalie that plays as unorthodox as Fedotov does, but he's stopping the pucks, and Tortorella has faith in him. Now, what does this mean for Kolosov? It's a very good question, and John Tortorella wasn't willing to give details. Basically just said there's a lot of conversations happening with regards to what they're going to do with Kolosov. Obviously, they don't want him playing as the number 3 for an extended period of time, but of course, there have been all those reports saying that Kolosov would not necessarily be open to going to the AHL, so it seems like there are a lot of internal conversations happening right now with Kolosov's camp, between Danny Briere, Tortorella, everyone in the organization. So we'll see how that plays out. But at the very least, we know, for now, Fedotov has jumped Kolosov in the depth chart and is the Flyers' number 2 goalie. That's it for Flyers post-practice notes. I'm Charlie O'Connor with PHLY Sports. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.